Alright, hey guys, Simon here, and we're on the Sapling server once again, and I'm building a new crystal tower. It is creative mode, so it's not like I'm building a proper one. But creative mode, it's flat creative, so it's gonna go from bedrock all the way to the height limit of the map. And a new crystal tower, which is gonna be significantly bigger than the old one. If you are a long-time viewer of my videos, you should have seen the crystal tower in my single-player world. Yeah, I just got the idea to build a bigger one, taking into account new materials, new height limit, the fact that I'm in creative, so I can make it as big as I want. So you can see what's going on, right? You can see what's going on. There's the glass tube and the spiral staircase. I haven't entirely worked out the details yet. Basically, it's gonna be more or less the same things. Maybe a tree at the top, spiral staircase. Probably gonna be more stuff around it. Maybe like balconies and things. And then some work on the ground, landscaping. Maybe some other structures. I don't know. I don't know at the moment. I'm not being very specific at the moment. But well, what else should I say? Alright, so I'm doing the staircase first, because the staircase is pretty much the most complicated thing. I don't know how much I like this. So you can see we're using the octagon again. Remember in the original crystal tower, there's the staircase is not really circular, it's octagonal. So because in Minecraft everything's cubes, it's easier to use the octagon. So here it's pretty much the same thing. You see how that's all horizontal, and then that's all diagonal, and then that's all horizontal, well, when you turn around. So it follows the same octagonal pattern, but then I cut it into a circle, like that. And when you're down here, it looks a little bit strange when you transition from one to the other. I might change that a bit, but I'll leave it like that for now, see how it turns out. So I think it looks pretty good. You know, it's bigger. Same idea. And also now that, the thing is quite big. Okay, what's the diameter again? The diameter is like 64? I think it is 64 on the outside. The staircase is like 8. And then so the interior is 42. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 48, my bad. Yeah, so the interior is 48, outside is 64. Hey, cool, I'm recording too. And so, now that the tower is much bigger, the single block wall seems a bit thin. I don't know, I'll think about that at the moment. So the ground's not going to be like that, nothing's going to be like this. So this is me just laying it out. You can see the measurements I've set out there, and the height, and then the staircase. So this is going to take a long time. But I just thought I'd kind of show you how it is when I first start off. And then I guess when I get the tube all the way to the top, and then I fill in the staircase, then we can think about further details. So I mean, it's not very interesting. A lot of repetitive work, but not particularly interesting. I'll show you what I'm doing with the stairs. So the circle is pretty easy. I'm just going to raise the glass all the way to the height limit, and I'm going to have both inside and outside. And the staircase basically is just, that, and extending out until we get to where the circle is. See, this is why I want to do the circle first, because I've got to this point, and now the template is kind of far away and I can't see what's going on down there anymore. And so that's kind of why is that what I think it is? I think I'm doing that. Yeah, see, I don't know because it's kind of far away. That's why I'm going to do the outside circle all the way to the top, and then I'll have basically a guide to fill in the staircase in between the two glass tubes. So that's my thinking, which should make things a little bit easier. But as I said, so this might take me a long time just to do this. And I'm just gonna continue the video. I'm not gonna, release a few minutes and then have you wait like a week for me to finish the next bit. Alright, so let me get back to work. And I guess I'll come back when we do something interesting. Yes, new crystal tower. Alright, so I've had some people help me with this, and that's mostly why I've made so much progress since the last bit. Actually, this is not very good, is it? We're in the clouds. So yeah, remember last time we had the glass circles were pretty much at the ground level. The stairs were mostly just a single line you see there. Now the stairs, let's see, it's supposed to go up like 4 rotations to the top, or like 3 and 3/4 to the top. So we've got 1 and 2, 2 and a quarter. So we're more than halfway up the stairs and about halfway with the glass, actually more than halfway with the glass, because the clouds is above the halfway point. I think, wait a minute, are the clouds above the halfway point or not? Anyway, so I had help from, let's see, KLJ, Ezra, Yaya, and Skateboarder. So yeah, a bunch of people helped me out, thanks to those guys. And that's, what else? Don't really have too much to say except just to say thanks to the people helping me out and keep building. And also, this isn't, I mean, it looks pretty cool. I think so. I mean, it's nowhere near finished. It's barely just started. But I was thinking, like, I'm not the only one who can do this. A lot of people can do this, and a lot of people have ideas about big projects as well. And the only difference is that they don't finish them. And that's really, the only difference between me, who finishes big projects, and then the people who don't. It's not like I know any secrets or I can design better or anything like that. I just keep doing it until it's finished. Whereas some people, they'll start and then they'll stop. Like, that was started earlier than the tower. And I guess that some people get busy, or they have other things come up they need to work on, and they put some projects to the side. It happens, I guess. And I understand that I'm a bit hypocritical on that because my single player world is not finished, and I just moved on to multiplayer here on the Sapling server instead of working on that. Yeah, I don't know. But I think, yeah, like to the extent that people are able to finish their projects, I think that's the main difference between people who end up building awesome things and people who don't end up building awesome things. I mean, obviously some design knowledge helps a little bit, but just looking at these people on multiplayer, I mean, most of these guys are good guys and fairly smart people, and it really is finishing things, man. It's not really anything special to it. Just keep working on that thing until you finish it before you start the next thing. Like, some people will keep starting projects and then never get very far with them, and then they'll scrap it and then start again, scrap it and start again. Whereas all of the ideas are pretty good that I've seen, and if they just finish it, then it'll be awesome. I don't know, that's what I have noticed. So, I mean, if you're someone like that, then I don't know what to say except, just finish what you start. It gets boring, right? And then these guys, they were helping me earlier, and then they did help quite a lot, and I really appreciate it, because I mean, this by myself obviously would have taken, I don't know, 5 times as long, as there were like 4 or 5 people working on this at the same time. So it could easily have taken me a week just to get this far, whereas, with a few guys to help, we got this done, in about a day. But what was I saying? But yeah, like it gets boring, and then after a while, people started messing around, and then they stop building and start throwing potions around and all that. But that's alright. I mean, if you get bored, then you take a bit of time off, but come back to the project and then finish it. Perseverance. I don't know if they'll help me again, because this is not very interesting. You can see what I'm doing here. I'm just basically walking around in a circle, putting glass blocks down. It is not interesting. Like, most of the building work is just kind of really boring. And maybe that's the biggest barrier, to people getting good builds out. Anyway, I just thought I'd show the progress after about a day. with a lot of help. And alright, I guess I'll come back when I got a bit more done. Probably when I reach the top and then try to figure out what to do next. I'm just thinking as I'm gonna talking here. Like I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing next, to be honest. I guess I'll do the top and then the ground. I guess I'll redo the tree as well. I'm just gonna rehash old ideas, partly in homage to the original Crystal Tower, of course. So the top and then the ground and then the stuff in between. I think I've got ideas for stuff in between, but you know, as with the skyscraper, and I think I've talked about this a little bit before. When you design things, you prioritize the different parts. So the more important things you really should do first, because otherwise you might not have enough room afterwards. Well, if not first, then at least you make sure you do it, not last. Same with game design. Same with a lot of designs. Whatever it is most important. Make sure you give yourself enough time to do it. Don't leave it to the end. Don't leave it to the side. So the important thing will be, I guess, the top and the bottom. And then the stuff in between can be mostly decorative. Alright, I'll stop talking here. It's not very interesting because we're in the clouds. Well, actually, now there's a cloud level here as well. Originally in the Crystal Tower, the cloud level went across the tree, and that looked really good. But then they changed the cloud level, and then they changed everything else. So now we have a level here. This is the cloud level. And it doesn't line up with the Derping Mudcubes. The guy's name is Derping Mudcube. Okay. And the clouds don't really line up with anything. I mean, I'll need to think about this. What to do with the cloud level. Because obviously the clouds is quite special, as you can see. I mean, that looks pretty cool like that. Our square, low polygon clouds. Alright, let me think about what to do about this. And I'll be back with more stuff built, maybe. Or maybe I'll just record a bit next time the other people are on. And just to see if they have anything to say about this as well. Alright, so before I forget, I guess I should record the progress on the tower. What's changed since last time? Oh man, I don't even remember. So the staircase is mostly there, the 2 cylinders are there. So let's see, I'm pretty sure I didn't have the ground on the outside done, so it's not too complicated. It's quite big though. So there's concentric circles with the water flowing down, because obviously in Flat Creative, the grass is like 4 blocks above the bottom of the map. So it steps down a little bit, and the falling water draws you in, it falls inwards, as do you as you walk into here. So I haven't decided what to do here yet. I'm not gonna keep it bedrock. I'm gonna do something in here. And then above there, way above our heads in the clouds, is... well, let's just go up there and we can see it. So the falling water... So as you can see, I'm just rehashing the old ideas. I don't know if anyone wants to complain about me basically reusing old ideas and not coming up with too many new things. It's... yeah, rehashing old ideas. Okay, so that pretty much gives up the clue as to what's going at the top, right? It's going to be a tree. If we can get up there quickly enough. Yes, it does take forever to get up there, even flying. It is a bit ridiculous. So one thing that we're not gonna copy straight from the old Crystal Towers, I'm gonna put in floors. So you see the sticks of wool there? I'm gonna put in floors. I think there'll be about 7 or 8 floors. So it'll just be like a balcony going around the tower. Maybe something going inside as well. It doesn't actually make the journey to the top any faster. Let me just... as we get up here, let me just go back down to the stairs and we can walk up. So when we finally get close to the top, you can see that there. So same idea, a floating island in the sky with a tree above it. Although obviously, since everything is much bigger, everything can look a lot better. Yeah, so there'll be balconies, 8 sets of balconies and some stuff. I guess more circles since we're using circles here. And you can't even see the ground anymore, which is pretty awesome. I do like how in a way I like how Minecraft looks from up here. I'm quite disappointed by the view distance. Like once you get up to this high, you can see how short the view distance is, and that's not me, like I'm on far. And this is all Minecraft. Although I like how that looks here, like you see like that grey color and then the blue above. It almost is like as if you're going into space, and then as the sun sets, I mean it gets a bit strange because you see the sun below the horizon, and so it's a bit odd. But in a way I like this, like the open sky above, when you're above the clouds. Oh anyway, that's a tree. So this glass I think mostly would, I don't know, I think I'll cut arches into the glass where the stairs are. I do want to keep most of the glass. Just because, you know, the glass is mostly transparent, but you can still see it, and especially when you're far away, and you look at the tower, it looks kind of hazy, it looks like there's, you know, stuff there that's kind of slightly immaterial. So I like how that looks. So there's a lot of lights hanging from the tree just because, again, everything's so big that you need more lights to light things up. I didn't really think this through, did I? Because I need to get inside, and I haven't actually made the openings inside yet. Also, I haven't finished the tree. So I think I'll ask for some help. As I've said before, like a lot of people have been helping me with this, and that's really cool. It's made the building a lot faster than if I did it by myself. So there's the floating island, like that, falling water, giant tree, hanging lights. This is quite nice at night time as well. Actually, I think I need. Let's just liven this up a little bit. Where's my things? Here we go. Let's just grab that and pretty this up a little bit. I do like the wild grass. Like it's just there's no pattern to it. There's random flowers and then grass, the long grass. I guess that's a personal thing. Yes. Oh, were they talking to me? Yeah, yes, I'm recording. I guess that's pretty much it so far. So that's the progress on the tower. Yeah, I guess I don't have too much more to say. Again, similar ideas. It's not really complicated neither. It's just basically a glass tower going up. So it's one of my, you know, the first crystal tower was one of my earliest projects, and so it was the least. In a way, it's the least well considered. Like I just built it. Although it seems like a lot of people do like it a lot. Alright, so let me just finish this off and then stop wasting your time watching me do this. Yeah, so this is bigger than I thought. I thought I was just gonna spend 10 seconds doing this, but as you can see, everything is bigger than I expected. Alright, so let's just leave it at that. That's nice, I like that. A few flowers, tall grass, tree. Yes, anyway, so what am I doing now? I don't think I'll do the ground yet because I'm gonna put something in between here as well, I think. So I think on the outside there'll be the balconies, as I said. I think also it'll open onto the inside as well, so it'll be inside balconies and outside balconies. And then I guess I'll have some, you know, supports, flying buttresses, so slightly gothic flying buttresses, and maybe that will interact with the water a little bit. And so then I'll do the ground after I've figured out what I want to do with the water. So it might, you know, the water might interact with the flying buttress, and then that will spread the water out a little bit, and so then it won't fall in those places on the ground. So I'll do the ground last, I believe, just so I can figure that stuff out before I make the decisions. And then also outside balconies, and I don't know, there's not too much space here, and I don't want to expand out too much, just because other people have started building their things around here ever since I've started this, just because they're here. So I won't make it too much bigger than that. Let me just... Anyway, that's it for now, and I guess when I come back, we'll have more stuff to show. It doesn't even fit on the screen, look at that. Alright. Huh. So I don't really know what to talk about, and I don't really remember what I was up to last time. Anyway, there's the balconies, and then there's water, and then there's these archways, and then there's the entrance to the tower down here. The bottom is still not done. The water kind of has to go around the pathway, which is also awesome. I mean, that's just a little gateway. Then the water kind of defines the shape of the tower, along with the spiral in the middle. I don't know what to talk about. I guess one of the things that I want to talk about is the design of what am I talking about? Like the scale of the design, because with well, there's some other things. With a structure this big. I'm not talking about ramen. With a structure this big, like obviously the overall shape is the cylinder. So you can see that the large scale things, the cylinder and the spiral, I guess. And then the medium scale things, you have these balconies and the water things. And then in the smaller scale, which I haven't done yet, I guess I'll do some small detailing as well. Maybe lights and seats and plants and things like that. And just, you know, when you design things, it's important to design it like it's different from when you draw. When you draw a drawing, you have a piece of paper, right? And that piece of paper pretty much defines the limit of your drawing, if that makes sense. Like, I guess there, like if you have a thick crayon, then your level of detail is going to be less than if you have a really sharp pencil, if you know what I mean. So if you have a sharp pencil, then you can put in more detail. In Minecraft, I guess the smallest unit would be the block, whereas in the real world, you might, go down to, design down to an inch, or even a fraction of an inch, or a millimeter, or a centimeter. So this thing is 250 meters tall. So then you design it, 250 meters, but then you take a part of the building and you design it at a more detailed level, and so on and so forth. I don't know if I'm making sense here. I guess I'm not. I really should have prepared something to say before I started recording. I guess I'm just showing progress mostly. So I got KLJ here helping me out. So thank him for helping me out here. Yeah, so maybe it's just something that you might want to think about, when you design at scale, because usually when you have an idea in your head, I mean your brain has a certain capacity for imagining. Like if you imagine something, you think about it at a certain level of detail. But let's say you imagine a city. I don't know, a famous city. Like if you imagine New York, if you imagine, I don't know what cities are recognizable to you guys. But when you imagine a city, you don't count the number of doors, right? Whereas when you imagine your own house, you can count the number of doors. So your brain can only hold a certain amount of information at once. And this is where, when you design a really large structure, you can't just work from your imagination, or rather, if you've put in the overall shape, that's not finished because there's so much stuff, or the thing is so big that you need to get down to a smaller detail, to a smaller scale, and then design there. So here we would say, okay, I've made the tower, the cylinder, and then so what's next? So what's next? Next is the balconies. So then I put in the balconies, and then so these are smaller. So then when I work on the balconies, I look at each one individually. So they stay here. Then I design, at a smaller scale, this little water feature at each balcony, and these towers, or these kind of columns holding up the balconies. And then, I didn't think of this when I was doing that, when I was doing the tower, because that's at a different scale. I think this is kind of, maybe this is obvious, maybe this is not obvious to people. I don't know at what level of, design experience most of you guys are at. But sometimes when you design something and you wonder why does it look kind of simple? Like if it looks too simple, it's because you haven't. Well, sometimes it's because you haven't considered it at a smaller scale, or you haven't considered parts of it in greater detail. Like if you have an idea, you build the whole thing, but then the archways maybe need a bit of detailing. The stairs maybe need a bit of glowstone. The balconies maybe need a little bit of water features. So sometimes, like, just because you have your initial idea, which is the tower, just because that's finished, it doesn't mean that the tower is finished, because there's so much more stuff that you need to do before it has that level of detail that makes it look like an impressive building or an interesting building, if that makes sense. I don't wanna just randomly critique other people's structures. Like, that one there, you can see how it's a very large building, and the basic shape is there, but then they haven't gone into details like, okay, so what should I put on the walls? Whereas there, you can see there's rhythm in the windows, there's lights, there's more details, and so you break down the large surfaces into smaller bits, you can design the smaller bits as well. Then you have a more interesting and a more complete building than just say, you have just blocky shapes. Basically, you just have the basic shape there. It's not really finished. You know what I mean? You can see what I mean? Whereas there, okay, you've got the basic shape, and you got the fans, and then you put in the fountains, and then inside the pool you have the detailing. And so you just you work at multiple scales. Just because you have one part done doesn't mean the other parts are complete as well. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So the glass tube is mostly done, and so I've been working on the fountains and whatnot. I think I should stop there. It's kind of impromptu. Mostly, I guess I'm just showing you the progress on this thing, and I'm getting a bit of help from people, as you can see. Alright, I guess I'll come back. Basically, it's been 1 day each, so it's like, remember that's like 3 parts so far, so it's like 3 days, basically, over a weekend. So weekends, I'm spending more time here than on a weekday. But this is actually progressing really quickly, if you consider it, although I am getting a lot of help from other people. Alright, I'll just leave that there for now, and probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, so maybe I don't know if I'll record. Anyway, we'll see what happens in the next little part.